Today, Nike is a flawless $150 billion empire, globally recognized as the ultimate symbol of victory. But trace this mammoth back to its roots, and you won't find factories, massive supply chains, or a brilliant corporate strategy. You'll find a guy selling shoes out of the back of his car, funded entirely by a skeptical father's $50 loan. Stripping away the corporate mythology reveals that world-changing companies don't require master plans. They require messy, improvised beginnings. In 1962, Phil Knight was a student at Stanford University. An awkward former college runner, he definitely didn't fit the profile of a visionary genius. For an entrepreneurship class, he had to write a simple business paper. He ignored the safe topics and made an unusual case. Japanese-made running shoes were about to disrupt the entire industry. His thesis argued that these foreign shoes could enter the market cheaper and better, replicating the exact takeover Japanese cameras had just executed against dominant German brands. His professor probably graded the assignment and forgot it by lunch. Phil, however, couldn't let the concept go. He didn't have a clairvoyant map of the future. His only real advantage was the pure guts to chase down a single discarded academic idea. Phil bought a plane ticket to Japan, walked into the headquarters of a shoe manufacturer called Onitsuka Tiger, and asked for a meeting. He had zero industry connections. To get their attention, he pitched the executives on his role representing an American distribution network called Blue Ribbon Sports. Blue Ribbon Sports did not exist. He invented the name standing right there in the room to make himself sound legitimate. The executives bought the story and agreed to ship him samples. Now he actually had to launch a business, which meant he needed capital. He whipped home to his father and asked for exactly $50 to get the operation off the ground. That tiny loan suggests that audacity and the ability to improvise on the spot are vastly more important than waiting around to secure a massive financial cushion. The reality of his distribution network in the 1960s was entirely grassroots. Phil drove his Plymouth Valiant from track meet to track meet across Oregon, popping the trunk to sell shoes directly to the athletes. He soon partnered with his old college track coach, Bill Bowerman. Bowerman had zero interest in corporate scaling. He was completely obsessed with making runners measurably faster. Seeking better traction, Bowerman went into his kitchen and literally poured liquid rubber into his wife's waffle iron to prototype a brand new sole. That was the entire R&D department. They operated entirely out of a car trunk and a kitchen, with no official office, no investors, and zero safety net. Innovation rarely starts in polished corporate laboratories. It thrives on a scrappy, localized obsession with improving the physical product. By 1971, the relationship with their Japanese supplier was fracturing. To survive, they needed to launch their own independent brand. They needed a logo quickly, so they paid a local college graphic design student $35 to sketch out the swoosh. When Phil first saw the design, his reaction was tepid. He openly disliked it, proving that you don't need absolute certainty to push forward. This chart shows how the transition almost killed them. The mid-70s brought bitter lawsuits with Onitsuka, broken trust, and a severe cash flow crisis that repeatedly dragged the company to the brink of total collapse. What kept them alive wasn't a sudden influx of cash. These survived because their obsession with design gave them a superior product that athletes kept buying, providing the only revenue stream that could carry them through the litigation and liquidity crunch. In the trenches, this relentless iteration of the shoe became their primary leverage, allowing the business to outlast failures in financial planning and branding. The turning point arrived in 1984. Nike shifted their strategy to bet heavily on the personalities of individual athletes before they achieved legendary status. They placed a massive, risky wager on a rookie named Michael Jordan. Early on, his shoes were actually banned by the coaching staff for breaking team uniform rules. Instead of apologizing or redesigning the shoe, Nike leaned directly into the controversy. They ran national ads highlighting the ban, generating an unbelievable amount of cultural hype. Choosing friction over playing it safe repositioned Nike from a regional athletic supplier into a global cultural fixture. That initial foundation consisted of $50 borrowed dollars, a car trunk, a kitchen appliance, and an initially hated logo. Phil Knight's advantage wasn't massive wealth or superior intellect. It was an obsession with the product and a complete willingness to look ridiculous while everyone else doubted the idea. The middle phase of building anything significant is almost always a broke, uncertain grind that nobody ever documents or posts about. Ernest, what specific idea are you ignoring right now because it feels far too weird, small, or risky? A $150 billion empire started exactly the same way. You just need the obsession to begin.